right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. It is Thursday, June the 28th, 2018. And I'm already done with today. So we've just got up to this point with the podcast. I've already packed it in. My day's done. I'm ready to just go get into bed before I start killing children and kicking puppies. But hey,
done with today, yesterday.
Yeah, it's one of those weeks. And it continues. The hits just keep on coming. Like Nicolas Cage films, the hits just keep on coming. Like what you guys on stream saw 2 seconds ago, and I turned on the cameras, and Discord changed the layout of their fucking cameras for like the 8th time, and I had to redo Panic's camera box for like the 5th time, because why not just consistency? Who cares about consistency? Just keep changing shit for fun. Make everyone think that the development process is going along, so just keep fucking rolling. It's like when the internet goes from rounded corners on everything to sharp edges, and then back again, and it happens once every 5 years. Like, oh, fuck, progress. And they're just changing the corners.
I like the new layout, though.
Yeah, well, I don't. Because I have to fuck with everything every time. Regardless, how are you gentlemen doing today? Panic, how are you? Welcome back. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a fun couple of weeks. I worked 24 hours in the past 2 days, so I'm a little wiped out. I was pretty hungry right now. Last week was fun. I had a dentist appointment, which apparently, despite being on the road for an hour and a half, right on the way there, they canceled the appointment on me about 5 minutes before I got there. So I think it's one of the few times I've actually flipped out on a person, like yelling. It was fun. But other than that, things have been going pretty well. Got some cool stuff on the horizon. Got some stuff going on, which I'll be announcing next week. But it'll be fun.
Excellent. Mr. Black, how are you doing today? Your eyes are still on your head, which means you pushed your appointment back.
Yeah, did you get the laser shooting eyes yet?
Yeah, I was supposed to get my my LASIK eye surgery, what was it, yesterday? And woke up in the morning, went down there at like 8 a.m. They did some more screenings and got me sort of prepped up, and I had like a super long eyelash like in the back of my left eye. So they had to like keep flushing my eye and like poking it and stuff until the hair came out, because they couldn't do the surgery with hair.
So this was like in when you got there, like it was stuck in there?
When I got there, it was like stuck
How did you not feel that?
I have no idea.
It's not hard to not feel an eyelash.
He said,
really? There's like no nerve endings on your eye.
Yeah, and he said it was likely in there for a little while too.
Damn.
But I had no idea. But anyway, they got that out, and then I was like, "Yo, man." First he said, "So yeah, you have to come in tomorrow, which is today, for a follow up, because usually if there's any major complications with the surgery, it happens in the first 24 hours. They see you, and then they go from there." And then he was like, I was like, yeah, I'm supposed to be in here at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. And then he was like, did you get your appointment for next week? I'm like, well, no, because I was told I only have this appointment and then the following day. And I was like, I'm going to be in Las Vegas next week. I'm not going to be here. And then he went out and talked to somebody. He came back. He said, well, it's up to you. You can still go to Vegas. Your eyes should be fine. But you won't be able to come until I think like the 14th or something like that for the next checkup. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to another country, the United States of all places.
No, you're going to Vegas.
Yeah, and I'm going to Vegas, where
you're going to be so hammered. You're going to accidentally forget you're not supposed to rub your eyes for a month, and you're going to get there and just be like,
yeah,
done.
And it's going to be like 40 plus degrees and the cigarette smoke in these casinos. Yeah. I was like, you know what? This is probably just a sign for me to reschedule. Yeah, like I gotta fly in like 5 days. This is probably not smart. And so he went out and talked to them. They were like, yeah, you can come back. You can do the surgery on the 18th of July. I was like, perfect. So I ended up just leaving, didn't have it. So I'm here today, which is good. And then today, like I've been on like this crazy, like I've been streaming a lot. I've been waking up early. I've been trying to acclimate myself and trying to get more shit done in the day, because for like 3 months I was waking up at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, noon. It's like you're just dead. So I've been getting up like every day at like 8, 9 o'clock. The latest was like 9:30. And then today I woke up, I streamed for a couple hours, wasn't really feeling it. I'm like, I need a day off. So I just went out and got a whole bunch of shit done. I was going to get my hair cut, but the barbershop, there's like super long lineup. I was like, fuck that. So I had to like, I got a few errands done. And then I came home and laid in bed. I didn't even sleep. I laid in bed from about 4 p.m. because I was like, there's the off chance that you were going to be good to do some more of the Realm Royale replay. So I was like, all right, I'll have my Discord on standby in case he's good. I'm just going to lay in bed. I literally laid in bed from 4 o'clock till about 8 and then came downstairs and played a little bit of Realm before the podcast. Here I am. So I had a nice relaxing day.
Not bad.
It was nice. It was nice. It's like just chilled and watched YouTube videos.
Fire.
Yeah.
Fire. Did you end up in the weird part of YouTube, or did you manage to stay out of it?
Nah, I was just catching up on like movie stuff and UFC stuff, and that was pretty much it.
Okay. Not bad. Yeah,
that was my day.
I woke up and made myself something to eat and took Gabs into the walk-in clinic because she's been having all sorts of issues for the last like week or so. She had like a lot of lower back pain and shit, but she had issues with her tailbone during our move. She had aggravated something, probably lifting boxes and shit. Excuse me. And so we weren't sure if that was just what it was, and then it was that time of the month, which also introduces low back pain, so it was like impossible to fucking tell what was really going on. And then after the podcast, so Friday, after last week's podcast, woke up and she was like, I'm just not feeling all that great. And she was like sweating and shit, and we took her temperature and she had a fever, and I was like, all right, well, fuck. So I thought that she had gotten what I had, because I was sick not long ago too. And so I was just like, all right, well, we'll ride this bad boy out. The fever stayed all the way through until Sunday, and she hit like a pretty high fever. I think she's like almost 103 degrees at one point.
Oh,
wow.
Jesus.
Pretty high. So I was like, that's, you know, you get a fever that high, you're either in like the worst flu ever, or you have, you know,
or your body's fighting something off,
or there's something internal going on. But there were no symptoms other than, you know, the coming and going of back pain. There's no symptoms of the usual stuff that you would think, like in terms of urinary tract or whatever. So it was weird. So anyway, the fever broke on Sunday, and then this week, the fever kept randomly popping back up. Just come and go. And so I was like, all right, we need to go into the doctor's. Took her to the doctor today, and he was like, yeah, probably some sort of infection. Here's some antibiotics. Go have fun for 7 days. So, so we got that going. Hopefully that solves it. So we did that, and of course, we actually got really lucky because the walk-in clinic, there was nobody there. We walked through the door. There was 0 people there, which is a miracle.
That's the dream.
Absolute miracle. When we left, packed. Fucking everyone was in the office.
Between immediacy versus next year.
Well, it was the difference between immediacy, or you're sitting there for like 2 hours before you see the doctor, which was like a huge bonus. So we got in and everything was fine, so we got the stuff done. Came home, and then I like briefly did some Realm Royale stuff because I had just like this really, but not episode 2 stuff like Jeff and I were going to be working on. I was catching up with Mark, who was, I had given a list. We had a rough edit of the first episode last night at like 1:30 in the morning or some shit. We finally finished last night, and I watched what he sent me and gave him a bunch of notes to do a rough edit, another rough edit cut while I was out today. Got back, looked at that, was going through some shit, went Cairo, came home. Just finished doing more Realm stuff. We just finished the audio and everything up, so it's rendering right now. The final cut is rendering right now as we speak.
Holy shit!
So we'll have that. We'll have that tonight. I'll send it to Jeff. We'll make sure that you see it before we post it to make sure that against all odds, if there's anything left. But we've got it done. It's rendering right now. It'll probably be done in about 20 minutes from now, actually.
Sweet.
And,
So for those that don't know, for those that are watching the podcast don't know, Adam and I have a brand new commentating series out for Realm Royale called Realm Royale Replay. It is America's Funniest Home Videos meets Tosh.0 meets like South Park.
Yeah.
Like that's probably a good way to put it. And guys, we're gonna need your help on this. Go when it comes out on YouTube, make sure to go over there, hit the like button, share it up, spread the word. These things are gonna take us a long time. Mark is being a god back there, working a day job and then coming home and working on these episodes. And this isn't something that we can crank out daily. There's production in this.
You're gonna find out soon why we can't crank this out daily.
So in order for this series to work,
stuff, don't you?
you guys really need to show your love and support for this series. We're gonna go with it. We're gonna fucking truck along. We're all in on this shit. So we're excited. I'm excited to see this first episode. And
Jeff hasn't even seen it yet.
I haven't seen shit. I've seen like mini concepts of like what will potentially be pieced together at some. I have no idea.
Jeff and I got together. We did the writing and the recording, and then when I went away, and then Mark and I spent like 15 hours across the next couple of days working this episode out, and it's finally come along.
So when it comes out, guys, head over there, show some love. Just show some love, because this shit, and you guys are gonna see. You guys, when you watch a video and you just know that love went into the shit, like it just took a fucking long time to make. That's likely what this. I'm gonna assume this is what. Because even for us, all right, even for Adam and I, like you gotta understand, we did. Like When Cheese Fails in the beginning days took us a long time, because not only was Sony Vegas and shit like rendering really slow, computers were slower. We were having issues with like it failing halfway through. We would had to do multiple parts. One point we couldn't do longer than like 10-minute videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
There was all kinds of shit. So like, for a video back in LAGTV days, it may have taken us like 3 or 4 hours from start to finish. This first episode in total probably was like a 30-hour ordeal between kind of collectively us all sort of doing a thing. And that's kind of being like on the low end, because I know Adam and Mark have been putting in some stuff.
I haven't streamed in 6 days.
Yeah, there you go. So Adam and I got together. We wrote a script. We did the voice acting. We came up with some concepts. We had to figure out how we were going to piece this all together, and then things changed and we were moving. I mean, we did all this stuff. Now, obviously, the first few episodes are going to take 1 second. First few episodes are going to take a few seconds, or more than a few seconds. More than a few seconds are going to take a while, but hopefully Mark will have something down and we'll have a science down so that we can get a couple of these a week. That is sort of the thing. I know, like right now, it's
ideally like
very,
I
very
talked
tough.
to Mark, and ideally, if we can, like Mark and I have been discussing how we can be as efficient as possible with the process. Like in terms of like in the future a best case scenario, and we're pretty sure that we can get it to the point where 2 a week is pretty manageable.
Yeah,
it's going to take a few episodes for us to get to that point.
Yeah,
but we're pretty sure that we can get the process of the whole production to a point where 2 a week is a thing. 3 is never going to happen.
3, well, the only way it happens is if like Mark's quits his day job and he's on payroll. That's because these things are no joke.
I too would apparently, if it kept going the way it's going, I'd have to quit my day job too.
There you go. I'd have to have 2 people on payroll here, and I got no cheese at the end of the day.
So which of you guys is Bob Saget?
Technically both.
Yeah, we're both
technically. Where I don't want to say too much because it's going to be a mind fuck. I
spoiled a few things on my stream, but there's
that's
like
whatever.
80 people. There's like 80 people there.
That's whatever. That's whatever. It's gonna be something special. So yeah, and you'll see it soon enough. In fact, it's quite possible before you've heard this podcast, you've already seen the video.
Seen it. Yeah, you've already seen it. If you haven't, go on the channel and watch it.
Watch it for sure. It's good stuff. And it's the first episode. I mean, if we can somehow make it better in the future, I'll be impressed, but you never know. It's the first one, and we did this. We just to drive this home before we move on to the game stuff.
This is game stuff.
We took this from Inception, like Inception, to first episode completion
In a run of like a week?
in like 7 days,
Yeah.
including all logo work, any social media, website, the whole nine, like everything, all
we
done.
had to buy domains and shit. We had to set up an email account. You guys are just like before. You guys are gonna have to send in your clips to the Gmail account, realmroyalereplay@gmail.com.
Yeah.
You'll see all that in the episode. You guys, it's just like When Cheese Fails in terms of having you guys be the ones that are driving the content.
Yeah,
We're just doing us, and it's in a different format. I think you guys are gonna like it.
absolutely freaking crazy. There's one bit in there, and even, I don't even care if you guys don't like it, because Jeff and I cried laughing at it. There's one bit in here. I don't want to say what bit it is. Jeff know which bit it is, exactly, and Jeff hasn't even seen what Mark and I did. It's gonna be good. But yeah,
Let's
so there you go.
Let's get this podcast done so I can watch this damn video.
Realm Royale replay coming to you before you've probably even heard this. So, gentlemen, EA, I'm starting it off big. We're getting the ball rolling. You mentioned EA, you know it's already going to be a good start. EA coming out and publicly stating that, this is one of the execs at EA, publicly stating that he is convinced that Breath of the Wild and 5 other RPGs, which I have in quotation marks because pretty much none of the games in that list are actually RPGs. He just called them RPGs, I think, for the sake of hoping that we could actually compare them to Andromeda.
Can we get these game lists?
I wish I didn't grab the article because I didn't think we needed to go that deep on it. But he said that Breath of the Wild specifically, he called that outright, and 5 total RPGs that launched in the same window as Mass Effect Andromeda was pretty much the reason why it had poor sales and was critically received poorly. It had nothing to do with the absolute shitstorm that was that game's development, them forcing a B team to use the Frostbite engine to try and do a space RPG, axe a year and a half, 2 years of work to start from scratch to rebuild the game, launch it in the most broken ass state, charge full price, and put the Mass Effect name on it, which bears some fucking heft. You put the Mass Effect name on it after that trilogy, people expect a certain level of quality, and then you put out some like Z-rated movie bullshit that you wouldn't even see at some backwater film festival, and call it on Zelda and 5 other totally not RPG games as why your game sucks some dick. EA. It's in the game.
Just thought it was in the game, bro.
It was in the game. It was in the game.
It didn't make it, man. Didn't make it.
But I don't even know. First of all, a couple things. One, this is recent. This is so why somebody?
Like 2 weeks ago, wasn't it? Like
yeah. So why is this guy talking about Mass Effect Andromeda at this point? From a PR perspective, you should never say Mass Effect Andromeda ever again. Should never leave your lips.
That makes me sad.
Nobody should be reminded, because you should just try and get past the fact that you put out that game and try and
Andromeda.
Well,
I liked Andromeda. I put like 300 hours into it.
You and a few other people liked Mass Effect Andromeda. Unfortunately,
look, I'm gonna go in on this one a little bit.
You give her, because I'm gonna have some broccoli.
Yeah, it was look, the game had a ton of problems. Everything you said was accurate. The dev cycle was just an utter gong show. And we said it on the podcast around the time the game came out. If EA had not rushed it to meet some arbitrary like fiscal quarter financial deadline and given it 3 to 6 months, that game would have been a hell of a lot better. Like the underlying bones of the game, when I played it, they were strong. The combat was probably my favorite out of all the Mass Effect games. And the balancing and everything around like the combat and the gameplay was great for me. What I did find was missing, and that was what everyone else latched onto, and they were 100% like right to latch onto, was the poor quality animation. You know, there were some bugs in places that there shouldn't have been bugs, and it was buggier than other Mass Effect games had been before. And I played it through and I enjoyed it. The storyline was good. It needed a little bit of polish here and there, but overall it was a good game. But they just had like a big layer of shit on top of it that had they taken the time to, you know, maybe get some bounty, put some bounty paper towels in the budget and, you know, wipe it off along the top, maybe give it a bit of polish for like another 2 or 3 months, it would have been fine.
What if it wasn't called Mass Effect? Do you guys think that it would have gone over smoother if it was called anything other than Mass Effect?
I think they would. I think it would have still caught crap, but it would have not been panned as badly as it was. They probably would have been like, okay, EA's trying something new. We'll give them a little bit of leeway, kind of like how it was between Mirror's Edge and, you know, the second one. They're like, hey, look, we like what you tried here, so you know what? We'll give you a bit of space.
Yeah, I just for one, I can't believe that I'm hearing about Mass Effect Andromeda in 2018.
This executive should be slapped because
And
honestly,
two,
there was so much cool stuff they could have learned about doing the process correctly instead of this stupid PR crap.
If I'm a shareholder, right, which is apparently who this guy was pandering to when he put the game out in the window that he did to make the fiscal year end, right? What that tells me is when he goes out and he complains about these 5 other heavy hitters, including Zelda, that was in that window, tells me, it tells me he's a fucking idiot. Because as a shareholder,
You know,
if you're gonna tell me that I might maybe lose out on a minuscule, like didn't barely even move in the needle on my portfolio, because we pushed this game outside of a massive window of other titles that would influence it by his own words, but didn't, just so that they could make the fucking fiscal year in. I think you're an idiot, and I think you need to be replaced now. He's like, he painted himself.
He should be replaced.
He painted himself into a corner.
There's a big miss on the way they projected it. If this is what he's talking about and his projections on Mass Effect, the thing is, if you're a Mass Effect fan, you're going to buy Andromeda. By and large, Mass Effect is a franchise that's repeat customers.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you slap Mass Effect on a title, regardless of what people thought of 3, they might have been like, we didn't like the ending of it or whatever. They still played the shit out of that game. So
of course,
if you slap Mass Effect on something, you've got pretty much the entire install base that's gonna buy that game. You know, yeah, and that fan base is enough to go up against other big titles. If you were worried that you were going to get smacked around a bit, then you know what? You've known Zelda's been coming out. You know these other games
That's what I'm saying.
Out. You don't go up against the Marvel movie in the movie theater. You go the next week.
Exactly. Somebody else from a legal standpoint doing all sorts of fun things in the last few weeks. We talked about the fact that PUBG was going after Fortnite.
Oh, wait, I didn't get to say anything about Mass Effect.
Oh, well, go ahead, because it didn't look like you wanted to say anything. I apologize.
Oh, no.
It was an assumption. All right, go for it.
No. I just wanted to say Mass Effect Andromeda sucks moose balls, and I don't give a fuck about the game.
Wow.
Perfect.
Let's move on.
Perfect. All right. All right, well, I'm sorry I didn't give you a platform for that. I apologize.
It's all good.
I'll provide that to you in the future.
It's all good. Your instincts were dead on.
Well, that was. I was trying to read the room. I was trying to read the room.
You read it.
All about them moose balls.
But you know who didn't read the room? PUBG Corp, when they decided to try and sue Epic for fucking Fortnite and their shenanigans. But this week, apparently something, I haven't seen anything more come out of it in terms of an explanation for what's going on, or I don't even know if we know that it was a, I just realized I should turn off my air conditioner.
Where were they suing them from? South Korea?
South Korea.
US?
Well, and the reason why they were suing them from South Korea wasn't for any other reason, because South Korea's laws in this regard and America's are actually relatively similar. The difference being that because PUBG Corp and Blue Balls Entertainment are Korean, they wanted to hold it in Korea because Korea, like Japan and China, have the all for one mentality
favorable.
shit. And so they would almost get like literally get away with murder. And the courts, there's a good chance that the courts will say you're a Korean company, so fuck the Americans.
Kill them all.
Kill them. So you win this court case just by default, kind of shit. And that was definitely their plan of attack. And obviously, for better or worse, it didn't go as planned. Or we'd be hearing about a victory a little more than we're hearing right now, I would imagine. So they dropped the case. It's gone. It's no longer being done. And maybe now they can take all of that money and time and try and make their game not shit. It's just an idea. It's one that's been floating around in my head for a while. Might be crazy.
All 3 Battle Royales have like a patch this week that were all super buggy. Like I heard Jeff saying the Realm Royale one was pretty buggy. I know the Fortnite one was super buggy and laggy. And PUBG was kind of derpy too.
Well, PUBG hasn't had a good patch since it was released, so that's not shocking. Fortnite, that is a little uncharacteristic. They don't often screw the pooch. I didn't hear anything about that, but
it wasn't as bad as when they had the outage like a couple months ago. But
Okay.
I've heard people saying like there's a lot of really weird glitches and bugs that they weren't expecting.
Realm Royale. I mean, I'm not gonna give high res shit for Realm Royale because they have a new patch for this game almost every 72 hours because it's in this.
They're gonna hot.
They're in that fast.
They're in the alpha like hot fix phase where they're trying, and I like it because they're using this time to try some wild shit. Like you will play the game and you'll come back 3 days later and they have nuked it from orbit and the game is it's a totally different game
but
with
they still
wildly
keep it,
different
but they
mechanics.
Still keep it's the same game, but there's these tweaks that change the dynamic of the game. So
yes, exactly.
You know, it doesn't ever feel like you're playing a shit game. It's always a good game, but there's just things that you're like, I don't really like that, or I like that.
I also don't want to turn this into like a sales pitch for Realm Royale, but one, I've been seeing you guys play it a lot, and I've been in a hole for like the past month or so.
Sure.
So can you like go into like what makes this so much more? I've seen like they have like classes and a bunch of other things going on with it, but like what makes this so like because it got grabbed both of you like really quickly.
All
and
right,
locked
Jeff.
in. So I'm actually interested in possibly playing this too. So
We're in Trump Tower.
I'm not looking for the ad pitch,
we just went into the elevator, and you're trying to get a job, and you're gonna sell Realm Royale in 2 minutes because you know it's a tall building.
Okay.
What do you got for me? Sell me on playing Realm Royale.
It is Fortnite without building. It is also basically Paladins or Overwatch in Battle Royale form. So you've got different classes, kind of like you would in a MOBA. You've got sort of a support class, which is more of the engineer. You've got an assassin class, which is like the sniper, the guy that stays back or goes in for a kill. You've got the mage that has great mobility. You can fly through windows and you can shoot fireballs and shit. And then what else you have? You have the hunter, which is sort of in the middle between assassin and mage. And then you've got missing one, warrior, which is basically a tank. It's like just running in and going nuts. And that's it. And you can do solos, duos, or squad of 4. Same thing. 100 people fall down. And
actually, it's 84 right now.
Yeah. It's
mostly
not quite
for
100.
Mostly for server reasons.
Server things. Yeah.
Are they going to try to aim back up to 100 once?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The game is just a lot more popular than they thought it was going to be. And what's nice is a lot of the big streamers, like all of them, Shroud, Ninja, Summit, all the big guys, they're all playing the game. And they're consistently playing the game. This isn't like Radical Heights where it was like of 2 days. This has been
48 hour.
This has been a couple weeks.
I've been seeing people playing it like for the past couple of weeks. So I'm like, why is everyone's like? I initially thought when people were playing it that it was like some big sales pitch that, like, you know how Twitch has those where people just play the game for like that. But this has been going on for like more than like a week or two. So I'm like, most companies
yeah,
don't do that.
I love the
for more
game.
than a
I love
week.
the game. I'm all in on it. I'm playing it full time now. I've got like 150 hours in it.
Yeah, it looked pretty
It's
cool.
a game. It's a game I'm playing like off stream too. Like I'll stream it for like 10, 12 hours, then I'll play off stream for an hour or two, and then I'll wake up in the day and I'll play it.
So this pretty much fixed all those little nagging things that you had about Fortnite to make it like, yeah, no, this is what I want to play.
Yeah, it's for me. It's just there's no building, and I'm good at the game too. And it's just like it's and it's early. Like that's the thing is I saw it with Fortnite. I said, man, Fortnite's gonna blow up. It's gonna be fucking bigger than PUBG. It's gonna blow up. It's gonna blow up. Blew up. I also think Realm Royale is gonna blow up. It's not gonna be the size of Fortnite. It will beat PUBG. It's a matter of time. I think Realm Royale just needs it just needs to be not an alpha. Like it's I
When
still
they do
think
their
it's,
release.
I still think it's like beta. It's the game's beta. It's
they're
not
calling
alpha.
they're calling it an alpha, but it's definitely
Because-
a beta because they've taken so much of the framework from Paladins that they haven't had to do a lot of the base work.
Yeah.
So this game does not play like an alpha. They're
No.
using that. They're weaponizing the word alpha like a lot of people
course.
on Steam do.
Of course.
But it's even for a beta. Again, it plays remarkably like a full release game. There is very little mechanically broken about it.
You're not like crashing the desktop or anything
no,
like that.
no.
No, not often. Like not in game anyway. Sometimes you can go to the lobby, there's a bug, but apparently that's getting patched now too. So it's just really good. It's surprising me. That's why Adam and I are going in on it on this commentating thing. They don't have a replay system yet, so we can't actually commentate the game. So this was sort of our introduction to it. We're hoping that maybe even high res. High res they're doing a great job with community. Like they're out there, they're doing partners with streamers. They're looking for content providers. They're just listening. And they really are listening. Like people hated one of the patches that was done like 6 days ago, and then 2 days later they didn't completely reverse what they did, but they met a little bit more than halfway, and that's great. Like and then boom, everybody stopped bitching and complaining, and now the game is popping again. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think give it another month, and this is gonna be something crazy.
Yeah, it's just a solid game for me. Coming from the perspective of somebody who prefers like I've said a million times in the past, like a semi-realistic military, like arcade shooter feel. This still filled holes for me in the ways that Fortnite did for a couple reasons. One, as everyone would know, and it's how the game is going to be known, unfortunately, probably for a long time, if not forever, is it's Fortnite without building. That's exactly how it's going to be described, probably indefinitely. But regardless, I don't think that's a negative thing. I think that's positive, because then the additive that's beyond that, like from a logical progression, is once you've asked somebody or you said that this game is Fortnite without building, it's not just that. The class system is what completely differentiates Realm Royale from every other, not just Fortnite, but from every other battle royale game.
Royales.
And what it shows also is that it will possibly be one of the better team versions for battle royale, because anytime you add a class system to a competitive game like this, it's inherently built to be a team experience. Experience. Your classes fill roles in combat, and they fill the holes of the other classes that are missing. And working together is always better than not. At least that's the ideal situation when it comes to balance. And so, despite that, they have done a relatively good job without long periods of shenanigans, balancing solo play, despite the fact that the game is absolutely made for squad based play.
And it's the most fun in squads, not duos. I don't like duos all that much.
Duos, it doesn't work out that well.
Yeah, squads is a fucking blast, man.
It is.
You get a team of people on microphone and other. I mean, you can still have you can have a whole team of warriors if you want, but usually you have a couple of warriors on your team, and then you've got like a hunter or an assassin or whatever. But it's just nice and what's cool too is when you get down, you turn into a little chicken and you run around and after like 30 seconds, you can pop back up as a player again. So once you kill someone, you need to kill the chicken as well. You got to really get out there and get that chicken dinner, essentially.
Oh, so you auto res as opposed to having to be force res by someone.
Exactly.
Yeah, you auto res, and your teammates can just kind of keep you alive by giving you cover. And you can also, and a lot of the times when you're fighting people, you have to know when to go after the chicken and when to back off, because if you go for a chicken, it could be a big retard magnet, and other people see you going for the chicken, they end up killing you, and they take both chickens. Then when you kill a chicken, you get a little chicken head, and you take that to a forge, and there's forges scattered all over the map, and that's where you can build your class weapon, or in other words, I like to call it your legendary. Think of it as a MOBA. Each class has its own actives, and you can, you've got to use you can change your key bindings or whatever, but you got your guns that you can shoot, and then you've got your class, your legendary weapon, and that also can have certain elementals. So you can have
a bit
one
more strategy to it.
Oh, there's a ton more strategy in this. And what's so appealing about the game for me, and in terms of like, I would never want to commentate Fortnite. I'd never want to commentate PUBG. It'd be a fucking absolute snooze fest. Like,
not a way to distinguish the characters other than the person
especially PUBG.
they are.
Like PUBG would just put me right to sleep. At least Fortnite, there's a building aspect, and I guess like when you're building it, there's a little bit more action involved, and even that becomes a clusterfuck. Like when you're looking at it and you're just seeing what's going on, you're like, Jesus Christ, slow down, Ninja. I don't even know what the hell's going on here. This one, there's so much strategy involved. And with all the different classes and the abilities, it's almost like watching a game of League of Legends where you can commentate certain power-ups that they have and actives that they're doing. And then when they forge something, oh shit, he got good RNG and he got this. This is going to be a big key item or active to have towards the mid or the late game. And it's just it's a whole dynamic. And even when you go late in the game, depending on what items you have, how aggressive you are, how many chickens you kill, how many forges you get to, it changes your whole play style, because you may not have certain actives that you would prefer to have to be aggro. Sometimes you need to back off, camp a little bit, wait for other people and try and bombard them and then pick up their items. There's so many different ways to do it. It is the most esports type of battle royale that there is, period, in terms of viewership watching it, and also, in my opinion, for gameplay, like partners, to have that formation, that feeling of team instead of just team deathmatch.
I think the other if you were shortlisting positives for the game, would be that the pacing of the game is better than any battle royale that's out there. It's better than PUBG. It's better than Fortnite. The pacing is the best. And it's not even close. It's bang on. It feels so good. Games never feel too short. They never feel too long. Yep. There's rarely.
Dude, isn't it funny? You land. You get into like a big. No matter where you land, you're usually fighting for the forge.
Yep.
Then by the time you go to the second forge, you're down to like the third last circle, and there's 20 people left. And then if you make the next forge, and this all happens within like 2 minutes at a time, and next thing you know, you're in the top 10. It's like, and if you get killed, you're like, who cares? Load up another one. It's crazy. It's crazy good.
Yeah, the pacing is really good.
And they have a bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, and master.
Yeah, they already have a rank. They already have a ranking system which in place where the others don't. It's just very well done. And then so outside of the pacing, the thing I wanted to make one more point on was that and what I'm most excited to see and what I most like about the game, which is also why, and Jeff mentioned the patch that everyone hated, and I think the one you're talking about is the one where you no longer crafted your class legendary. So they had a patch where you no longer crafted your class legendary weapon at the forge.
Would just drop randomly.
It was a random drop, and it was fucking garbage. Because the thing that I like about the game is that the forges. The forges add a lot to the game in terms of the items that you need to craft things, but the forge becomes a point capture and control all over the map at different times, because a team has to control that for 60 seconds to 2 minutes,
really,
at a time.
Draw people in,
and it draws people because there's smoke
and you can see. Yeah,
so you can see from a distance.
Cool because it can fix the stagnation that'll happen in a lot of.
Exactly, you can't.
Well, and if you're a bitch and you're camping and you got nothing, you're fucked. Like
Yeah.
you're if you don't go out there and you're not actively like you got to get lucky.
It plays
like, you
the
gotta-
risk reward really well.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
But
Yep.
that point capture, it adds. It's not intrinsically built to be that, but it's how it ends up playing out in a game anyway, and it adds such a great element to it because it
That
means
alone makes it a lot more interesting to commentate. It sounds like.
well, exactly,
Oh my
because
God,
it,
yeah,
it just it's really, and since all
Well,
the
and think about
forges
that.
are in different towns, and all the towns, the fights play out wildly different.
Yes,
from a visual perspective and from the layout of the land. It's really, and the forges aren't all the same building. Like there's a forge at a lumber
they
mill
look
that's
different.
on. They're all different.
They're all
So
different.
the forge at a lumber mill is on the main ground with open sides all around it, and it's got sight lines
You
everywhere.
kind of have to make a strategic decision on if you're going to go for a
different
forge
classes
later.
are better at different
Yeah.
forges, and
Yeah.
and it's
Oh.
just
Because of the layout, right?
Because
So,
of
like-
the layout, right?
Yeah, so the fact that the game is class based and has this forge thing,
You have to make that decision on
Is-
if you're going to go here or go a little bit later in the match.
Yep.
somewhere
yeah,
else,
it
okay.
really is very, very much more strategic than I think some people realize it is. And some of
Now,
the
have
problem
you-
they're going to have is because it looks like Fortnite, and that's going to be an asset and a liability for them.
So has it felt like you guys have been getting a little? I don't. This is not. I'm just more curious. Like in terms of the thinking process while you're playing the game, does it feel a little bit more overwhelming in terms of the things you kind of have to remember while you're playing, or
Super
like
casual.
differently? Okay, super casual.
Super casual.
I'm a scrub, all right? I'm a fucking video game scrub. And I changed my
That's
key
the first time
bindings.
I've heard you admit it.
My whole life has been built around
You've been
mediocrity.
admitting it for a long time.
So I
He has
changed
his
my
moments though.
I changed my key bindings right off the rip. And as soon as I did that, I fell into it and I felt comfortable. I didn't feel, at no point have I felt like I was struggling to try and work through my head what I was doing. The game just plays well. Everything just makes fucking sense. It blew my mind. I was going into it thinking, I'm going to have to relearn everything I've ever done. This is going to be a pain in the ass. And an hour and a half in, I was like, yep.
And
Good
that's
to go.
coming from Adam. We're talking about the guy that will complain
No,
about,
but that's why
fucking
I brought this up. 'Cause
anything
I
and
saw
everything.
I saw you and Adam playing, and I'm like, Adam actually sounds like he's having fun.
Yeah, it's a good time.
And I was just like, well done. Okay, I'm now
It's
interested in this game.
It's a good time. I'm gonna be grinding the living shit. I have been grinding the living shit out of it. I'm gonna continue to grind the living shit out of it. And Realm Royale replay is gonna explode. It's gonna be amazing. Adam and I are gonna commentate this game when they got replays coming out. It's gonna be amazing. And we're just gonna take over the world with high res. That's what's gonna happen. That's it. Or either that or the whole streaming YouTube career's dead and move on to the next chapter of my life.
It's
Got two options.
It's a
Not,
nice.
not all the eggs in one basket, then I see.
Yeah.
Oh,
this-
they're all in now. They're all in. I got that
Spread.
in this podcast. That's the show. That's it. I'm in.
We've been all
I'm
in. Pushed all the
I bet
chips.
it all on black.
All
That's
the
it.
chips on the table.
Fuck
So yeah, outside of that, now that we've gone through that magical thing, I see your webcam is blinking again, Jeff. It's been like 3 years since that's happened.
He's good now. He was flickering, but he's
Yeah,
good now.
every now and then it's cutting out and cutting back in. Remember, it used to do that like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't even remember what
Might
the
be my USB. Might be my USB.
yeah the port that you're using might be.
Yeah, I'll switch that up next time.
Let's stick with the competitive game thing. Overwatch announced Wrecking Ball today, which is a hamster powering a mech suit. And I swear to God, if I have one more game with a fucking rodent in a mech suit, I'm gonna lose my mind.
There's another rodent in a mech suit.
Every competitive game that's in that space, anything with abilities and stuff, League of Legends, Dota,
Yeah, they do have
Smite, they all like it's like if you could choose one character that shows up in almost every game, there's a couple of them. One, there's like Wukong, the Monkey King type role, and then there's a hamster or a rodent in a mech suit. It's like the two that are ubiquitous. They're everywhere. So Blizzard, being behind the curve, decided, all right, guys, we got to get in on this rodent in a mech suit shit. And so they released it, and here he is. He's a tank. He's on the test server now, and people are probably going to play the ever living hell out of him, and we'll know more about him next week. But yeah, it's a thing. It's another rodent in a mech suit. What else we got here? Let's see. Oh, let's talk about YouTube. YouTube, I don't know if you saw my tweets about this today, Jeff.
Yeah, I saw this.
YouTube did some fun stuff today, continuing their track record of being blatantly idiotic. YouTube decided to run an experiment, is how they worded it. An experiment with about 0.3% of their viewer base, which amounts to about 1 to 3 million people, seeing YouTube-generated thumbnails instead of those given by the creators. The fun part about all this is that they didn't tell anyone that this was happening until one of the creators that are relatively high profile mentioned it on Twitter, asking them, "Excuse me, I've been trying to get my thumbnails to show up now for the last several hours, and they just refuse to show up. Is there any reason why this would be happening?" And you know, you'd think that it was, oh, the website's having some issues, but no, we're running an experiment. We didn't tell you. We didn't give you any notifications that your channel was affected. None of that shit. We're just fucking with people for no reason to see how the performance and the metrics work out. And so what that tells me is that in 6 months' time to a year, we'll probably have it so that YouTube does that with everyone, because I don't think they've run an experiment where they haven't just gone ahead and fucking put it to use on the entire website. So enjoy your thumbnails while you can.
Let's put an entire group of content creators out of business.
Like, I get that they're probably trying to, well, okay, there's two things that are going on here.
Trying to avoid the super clickbait thumbnails.
There's a clickbait thumbnail, and then they just want to keep propping up who they want to prop up and get fucked everyone else, is basically how, you know, the two driving forces for that.
The one thing I'm happy about is that this means that live stream fails might not get those super clickbaity thumbnails anymore.
Oh,
so like the way they do it, like,
if only it worked that way on Twitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ba-dum-dum.
Bum-bum-bum. I got nothing to add to that. Just more YouTube doing more YouTube.
It's YouTube doing YouTube.
YouTube being YouTube.
Yep. What a shocker. All right, where are we now? Oh shit! I actually meant to roll the last thing. This into the PUBG Fortnite realm thing. 69%. This was just reported. 69 way. 69. Yeah, I have to. I hate that. Yeah, I almost have to say that every time. It's so dumb. So fucking
10 years off my life.
So juvenile. 69% of Fortnite players have bought in-game items. Like 1 in 3 of those people said it's the first time they've ever made an in-game purchase. And the average spend is $85 US.
Fortnite makes so much money.
I'm not even surprised by that. Even before the Battle Royale came out, I enjoyed the Save the World mode before that, and I put some money into it, so I'm not even surprised that people are dumping money into the Battle Royale version.
Billions.
What is 69% of their player base at this point?
Millions. Millions of people.
They made billions with a B, and they just beginning. More
Can we
bees.
break that down into how many ninjas of income Epic is making?
It's got to be at least 3 or 4 ninjas.
At least, 3 or 4.
3 or 4 ninjas.
All right,
Dude,
I'm trying to find. I want to know what the number is.
Adam, it's in billions. It's billions of dollars.
It's just I need to know this.
You want to know how I know a game is doing ridiculously well? When my account gets hacked and I start seeing purchases for like V-Bucks.
Oh, dude, people have been trying to get into my account now every single day. It's like,
I saw it like immediately, and Epic's been really good about the refund, but I'm like, oh yeah, no, I know this game's doing awesome because someone just tried to hack my account to buy stuff.
It's they're doing well. They're doing very, very well.
125 million.
Yeah. They've made billions.
Holy God almighty. So you're looking at about 75 million people have gotten in on that? At $85 a pop?
Yeah, nothing. Something light. Something light. Something light.
It's a few dollars.
Light cheddar.
And that's just the game's only been out for like what, a year?
Yeah, not very long. Not even.
Not
I don't
very
think.
long.
At
Not
least-
even-
Battle
at
Royale's
this-
not been a year.
not the battle
not-
royale segment of it anyway.
Yeah, not. Yeah, I think Ninja will be the first gamer worth $100 million in 3 years. I say 3 years.
I could see that. If he
3
doesn't,
years.
if he doesn't
If he
somehow
doesn't implode or
catastrophically,
just like
yeah,
like if he doesn't like cheat on his wife or something,
yeah.
he'll be fine.
Well, I mean that didn't really hurt Doc much either.
yeah,
so
but
it's-
he's got big deals now. Like
This
he
is
signed
true.
with, just signed with Red Bull.
This is true.
He just signed with some other like clothing company. You know,
Ninja's
he's got
so
some
wholesome, though.
big fucking deals.
so wholesome.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I say in 3 years he'll be worth $100 million.
I would say it's probably not inaccurate. Forza Horizon 4, and I put this in here because it kind of played in with stuff we've talked in the past about how streaming platforms are going to tie in with games, etc., etc. Forza Horizon 4 players are apparently going to be able to earn in-game money when they're streaming on Mixer. So we're starting to see, now this is obviously Microsoft's game on Microsoft's platform, but I don't think that this is going to be uncommon. I think this is going to get more and more.
I'm surprised it hasn't happened already because
Yeah.
it makes sense. You want someone to stream your game, pay them.
Exactly. So that's a pretty cool way for them to entice people to stream the game, and of course, for Microsoft's stream on Mixer. So there you go. I put this in here. I saw this pop up on Imager the other day. The devs had posted there's only like 2 dudes and a dream, and it's called Planetrism. It's a terrible name, and they should probably change it. But it's a new sci-fi RPG / management sim that's going to be slated for third person, first person, and VR. Done by a couple of dudes, Scandinavian bros, because they're the only type of person that could pull this shit off. Using the Unreal 4 engine. And looks doesn't mean a hell of a lot. These guys, however, came from the mobile market, and so they have a lot of experience in optimizing shit, making it look good, and using next to no hardware to make it look good. And if you look at that link, you can get some little clips of what the game is looking like from a gameplay perspective that they got going on so far. And I'm going to be straight up, it looks dope. And it
I think
kind
it
of
would be really cool in VR.
yeah,
Really,
and that's
really cool. Like
they're
that's a
really
VR
they're really
purchase for me.
pushing it as a VR thing, but they're obviously going to, because you would be crazy to exclusively build for VR, especially as an independent developer. They're obviously building it to not only just be that, and it's intriguing to me because it's merging the colony management stuff, which is already a pretty fun thing that a lot of people enjoy, and merging that with a first person or a VR perspective with questing and stuff like that you complete as the player, which you don't really get to do in other management type scenarios.
Kind of like
So
what Sanctum did with Tower Defense.
yeah, so pretty cool. Obviously, relatively early on, but they're obviously also feeling pretty good about it because they've been putting this game on blast on every publication that will take them. And I'm going to be personally keeping tabs on it just because it looks so damn good. It just looks good. It doesn't, and the scope doesn't seem
The management
wildly
games have been
out
coming
there.
back too. Which
Well, here's
which
the
I'm
thing.
digging.
Yeah,
Here's the thing. Any
Tell me-
type of
tell me, Jeff.
space
I'm hungry, so tell me.
exploration, like a space exploration, open world like game with some like sci-fi elements. I've been burned so many times. I mean, almost every single time I've been burned, but I still keep coming back. And just when I thought I'm done, there's another one that comes out, and it looks so good. And I buy it in hopes that one of these times, just one of these times, we'll have that ultimate experience. No, I don't even need the ultimate. Just one of these times, I need to have my expectations fulfilled. Just once, because sci-fi is the easiest overselling, overhyped shit that you can possibly do. Because all of us space nerds and geeks and fucking shit, we just want to get lost in a world. We want to get put on a planet that we've never been on before and explore it and see cool creatures and different minerals, and we just want to bounce around.
Imagination.
Yeah, we want to just go. We want to be kids again. We want to explore and have awe and wonder. And so we're just easily fooled all the time. And these guys know it. And they'll lie to you. They'll make shit look cool.
Let me put you at least a little bit at ease. This only happens on one planet, and it's 25 square kilometers.
Okay.
It's
making me feel better.
All right. So the scope. We're going from out there in nobody can pull it off land into okay, this is feasible.
Okay.
So that at least that should take the edge off just a bit. Just take it back just a shade. But it does look it just looks very good. There's something about the aesthetic too. It looks different from other space games somehow, which is hard to do because there are a lot of space games. Lots of space games. Space! So yeah, they have Planetrism. They really do, honest to God, need to change that name. Other than that, looks great. I'm on board. Mr. MaximusBlack.
Yeah.
Do me a favor. Hit me up with the sound of movies and TV.
Movies and TV.
All right, this week I actually had two things that I could put in here before we move on to talk about other things. Two!
Halo.
One of them, Halo. Halo coming to Showtime. With the help of Spielberg himself coming down from on high. Not that he's directly involved.
Actually happening?
No, yes, actually happening. 10 episodes, hour long. They start filming production in 2019, early 2019. And it's helmed by Kyle Kille or whatever his last name is, who did Lone Star, and then the director Rupert Wyatt, who did Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Good director.
Yeah, that's not a bad pick for a Halo universe thing. Now, we don't know too much, I don't think, beyond that. We don't necessarily know what characters it's going to follow, if Master Chief is going to be involved.
District 10.
Or what District 10. Not that would be a bad thing. I mean, District 9 was pretty fire.
Well, I mean, District 9 came from the failed Halo project.
This is true, yeah. They spun that out of that. That's true, yeah. And it worked out pretty well.
It worked very well.
But yeah, so that's a thing that's coming. And I expected, when I saw this thing posted up, I expected to click on it and just see people just shitting all over the place on it. And I clicked it, and people are, honest to God, they're down. I didn't see like a single negative comment, which for Halo at this point is
for good Halo.
Christmas miracle.
I'm down for a good Halo TV show. It's long overdue.
How do we feel about it being on Showtime versus something else? Does it change anything at all? Because I personally,
Showtime's had a lot of really good shows. I'm not against it. I think Dexter was on Showtime, and they had a couple others like that too, right?
Yeah.
So I
feel
like Showtime showing they can execute.
I'd be more excited if it was on HBO or Netflix.
Yeah.
I'd probably want it even more on HBO, but who cares? I mean, I'm not excited about this news. I'm just like, it's about time. Like it's about time, and we'll see. I mean, it's 10 episodes. It's got a good director. It's got good backing. They obviously must have a good script. I think Halo needs to be done in a TV episodic format, not a movie. So yeah, we'll see how she goes down. We'll see if there's a Master Chief. We'll see if it's going to be, who knows? We don't know what it's going to be like.
I mean, maybe it works without Master Chief, but I want to have Master Chief in this friggin' show.
Yeah,
I'm just tossing it out there.
We'll see. We'll probably know the synopsis.
But then that kind of ruins it, because you'll have to see his face.
No, you don't have to see his face. No, I don't think you have to see his face at all.
Who
And
knows?
that would be the craziest decision of all, would to be to show Master Chief's face in the TV show instead of the game. I think the gaming community would just collectively lose their shit. Like, you gotta be kidding me. You've been dicking us around for like going on 20 years and
Every
you put it
single
out
time
on
the
a
helmet comes off, you're like,
a TV show? Really? You're gonna do that to us? After that, Mandy, a trailer showed up. Guillermo del Toro, who I follow on Twitter, retweeted this thing and said, "Watch and be in awe." And I was like, all right, if he's saying this, I got to click on it. I got to see what's all about. So I click on it, I watch it, and one of the first frames, I see Nicolas Cage, and I paused and I went, wait a minute. Guillermo del Toro just retweeted something saying that it's a masterpiece, and I just saw Nicolas Cage's face pop up on the screen. Anyway, I took a deep breath and went back in. I played it. Looks like fire. Literally. If you haven't seen the trailer already, it's called Mandy, and you should go and watch it because it looks like a pretty stylized horror film for sure, and Nicolas Cage might, for the first time in a long time, get recognized for not being a shitty actor that took a shitty role. Apparently, people that have already seen it, because it was one of those film festival gigs. Everyone's like, yeah, fucking good. Really, really good. So
yeah. It reminded me, for one, the first thing that came to my mind when I was done watching the trailer, I literally said this out loud. I said, Nicolas Cage wants his career back. He
I want Nicolas Cage's career back. I like Nicolas Cage.
I know you like Nick Cage, and I, it's become this thing where I've kind of just liked to hate on his movies because they've just been so fucking bad. Some of them have been so bad they've been just next to genius. This thing here looks like he got tired of taking really shitty scripts and doing really shitty C and B movies for a couple $100,000 paycheck to pay whatever debts and divorces he's probably got under his belt. And he said, you know what? I'm going to take a small paycheck, very small paycheck, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make an indie film, something that's very like grindhousey. It feels like Evil Dead. When Evil Dead first came out, it's got that feel to it. How
many Cage faces are there?
There's like two. There's definitely one. There's definitely one Cage face. One. Really
well, I mean, he's definitely Nicolas Cage doing what he's been known to do, at least well. It's become ironic almost, but he's really good at losing his shit. Yeah. Like there's a lot of actors who are really bad at losing their shit. Nicolas Cage is not one of those. Like Nicolas Cage, I think because internally he actually is fucked up. So when he loses his shit,
he's just being himself in those moments.
He just lets it go. It's like he lets go the anger of his career and just he uses that and channels it, and then just gets salty as fuck.
So we'll see. I mean, hey, I'm excited for this film. I hope they show it here. It seems like one of those movies that's going to have a very limited release. Mm-hmm. Definitely not backed behind like a major studio or anything.
That means you'll probably get a streaming services then.
It's definitely going to go to theater, I would imagine. I'm sure it's got some sort of distribution, but I doubt we'll get it here. So I'd probably end up having to wait. It's kind of like that movie that came out, Upgrade, that's showed a lot in the States. Some parts of Canada, it's not showing here, and I've been salty, as that's been getting rave reviews as well. But this Nick Cage movie, for the first time, might actually get me to go to a theater or go to a shitty theater around here to like Park Lane or something that's going to play it, just so I can go and watch this movie.
This would have been Oxford Theater, but Oxford Theater doesn't exist anymore.
You know who bought Oxford Theater?
No, he's not going to.
King of Donair.
They're not going to slap a fucking King of Donair there, are they?
No. I think they just bought the real estate there. In fact, Anyway, I'll talk to you about that some other time. But yeah. Anyway, but yeah, no, it looks good. It actually looks pretty good. It looks intriguing, and it looks low budget and grimy. It's like, it just looks like.
But shot really well. Shot really well though. Like the cinematography looked like it was actually good.
Grindhouse is all about like the art house, like the art, like doing the technical aspects of it really well, but just on a really low budget.
That's it. It's a Grindhouse movie.
So they're gonna do like the cinematography is gonna be excellent. Sound engineering is gonna be excellent.
The lighting is
going to be low budget as
everything was good. Oh yeah. Oh, you can tell like When they're filming this shit, there's like 3 people in the scene and very minimal stuff around them. And then that is the scene, but the camera's just right on where it needs to be. If it goes an inch over to the left or the right, you're going to see like crew and like a trailer.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we're getting here. But it looks amazing.
It does. It does.
Yeah,
I hope we get to see it without having to jump through too many hoops here. But yeah, go Nicolas Cage. Get your career back, bro. Make it happen. Bring it back, and maybe we get another National Treasure movie.
Unlikely.
Or another Gone in 60 Seconds.
You guys
Also,
seen Incredibles yet?
No.
I went to Jurassic, the Jurassic Park
Jurassic
movie, though.
was terrible.
I gave it, if I had to rate it, I would have given it like a 7 point.
Wow.
I give it a 7.
I gave it a 5.
Oof. Really?
Tell
didn't
me
like
why.
it,
Tell
huh?
me why. Panic. Hook me up.
Again, like I saw the original Jurassic Park and stuff in theaters, and I just feel like they've been trying so hard, but they're just completely unable to put the lightning back in the bottle that made the first 2 movies good. Like
You didn't like the first Jurassic World?
No, I didn't like any of the new ones.
Mm.
The first and second Jurassic Parks were my favorite, but they just haven't, like, I feel like they're trying to make it too blockbustery, and they're getting away from what made the original Jurassic Parks great. So
Yeah, but it's
like,
just a different time. Like,
yeah, it is
know,
a different time. So like I get it, but
like Spielberg, like it was just movie making in general then was more about the magic. It was more original ideas, and it was about the heart. And
the
actually,
entire first movie, like, it wasn't just the whole dinosaurs thing. It was, how are we building this park? How is this process happening? You go on a journey, and then you see how it goes wrong, and that's, first Jurassic Park and 2. These ones, they kind of like, you kind of know what the gimmick is going to be, and they're just like, we know what the gimmick is going to be, and they don't even like. I wasn't into it. I don't know why. It just, I wasn't into it at all.
I mean, I respect that. I mean, listen, whenever I'm the same way too, and it's usually for franchises and IPs that you have a nostalgic or just a deep love for the original content, and then they come back and they make this new thing, and they're trying to give homage and nods to the original, but trying to also do its own thing in a way. And I definitely did not like this Jurassic World as much as the previous Jurassic World. I really liked the first Jurassic World.
The first one I gave a 7 out of 10. Like, that was where I was at.
Yeah.
The second, these ones were like, again, it just like, I was just like, these are.
I'm like a 9 on the first one, and I'm like a 7 to a 7.5 on this one. And I thought well, this one was 2 different movies. You had the first half, which felt more Jurassic Park, and the second half got a little, it was predictable, but it also had a nice horror element to it, and a very
I like the horror element of it. Like,
yeah,
it captured the tension of the original one. I was just like, all right, I can get on board with it. But at the same time, like, again, I know they tried, and I was upset when I had to give it a 5.
Cloning and all this other shit that they had going on there, didn't really do it for me. But I'll go see the next one. Apparently,
I'm gonna go see it. But
Favreau is doing the third one, and is supposed to bring it all together. They already have the script done. They already know where the movie's going. They're getting ready to they're doing pre-production and stuff now. So, and
seeing a ton of movies in the past 2 weeks. It was great.
Yeah, I actually I found out today. Big shout out and thank you to whoever shot me a message. There, how you guys have Movie Pass in the States. Well, there's a thing called like Cine. Let me see here, just so I get the name right. It's called Cinemia, with an S. They have that in Canada now. Now with the Movie Pass, you guys can pay $10 a month and see unlimited movies, like one a day. Yeah. So, which is incredible.
They're changing that up a bit, and they're making it less, but it's still good.
But still incredible. This Cinemia is available in Canada as well. So I'm gonna order it tonight after this. And the only shitty thing is it's not unlimited. So you get to go to 3 movies a month. Yep. But what's nice is with the movie pass in the States, you guys don't get to see 3D movies or IMAX movies. It's just regular admission. That's what you get, which is fine. I mean, for $10, holy shit. With this one, you can go to an IMAX. You can pre-order tickets for a show, like say if Star Wars is coming out, and once pre-ticket sales comes on, you can actually order pre-ticket sales. And how it works is all you need to do is before you go to a movie is you need to go on the app and you get your own little card. They send you a card just like Movie Pass. You go on the app and you say, hey, I'm going to this theater at this time, and then they'll credit your debit card, your Cine whatever credit card, the exact amount. And then when you go to the kiosk in the theater, and when you go to use credit card, you go and use your.
That's actually how Movie Pass works. Like you have to punch into the app, but the catch is you have to actually be within 100 yards of the theater when you punch in.
Oh,
and then
okay.
you have to effectively it'll activate the card for when you swipe.
There you go. Yeah. So
and they're actually adding, so that they made changes to the Movie Pass thing, but they added you can go to IMAX and 3D and whatever, but you have to pay. You have to pay like they're going to be like you have to do like a $2 surcharge per movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then they also added a Buddy Pass. So if you want to go with your friend, but you want to book on the app, you can be like, I want 2 tickets.
Yep.
It'll charge you the price for the second ticket, and then you can swipe.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. So
they're like adding some stuff.
That's the same thing with this is you can do it single, which is $5 a month. And that's only good for, I think that's only good for one movie, right? So it's like one movie for the month or whatever. But at $5, it's already less than half the price of what you go to one movie, you're making your money back. You can do 3 movies for $15. And you can also do a family pack where it's just under $30 for 3 movies for 2 people. So if you have a spouse, use the same card, and each person, you're basically credited 6 movies, including IMAX, for $30 a month. It's like a literal no fucking brainer. If you go to the movies,
if you like movies, get this.
Like I go to the movies. I'm go to the movies with my wife. And I spend, at least $25 on 2 movie tickets, and that's not including IMAX. Go to IMAX, it's like $38
extra
for two tickets. I get this thing, I pay $30 a month. After one viewing of me and the wife going to the theater, it's paid for. You do that, and we're easily go to the movies 3 times a month. Like, and if she is not with me, I'll go and see 4 movies in a month. I can use her credit. So it's a no-brainer. It works at all the Cineplexes and shit, so I'm ordering my shit tonight. Just going to write it off, talk about it on the podcast.
Hey.
Welcome.
I'm going to go back to Jurassic Park for a hot second so I can give my hot take on it, since we kind of dumped directly into plugging
Are there moose balls involved?
No moose balls, no. It's not that level of bad necessarily. I didn't hate it. I thought it was entertaining enough, to go and eat popcorn and watch a movie, I guess. But as far as like a Jurassic Park movie, I thought it was pretty shit. And I also thought it was the most predictable movie I've seen in the last like 5 years.
That's because it was.
I'm going to give that title Ocean's 8.
That was.
I went. I start watching, and spoiler. I'm going to spoiler alert on this bad boy, just so I can not get catch any flack here. So if you're watching this live, if you're watching this on YouTube, listen to this. Spoiler alerts incoming. Okay, we'll wait another second. Okay, so basically, the moment that it was there's the scene where they're talking to the older guy, the friend of the whatever early.
We know who you're talking. There's like one old guy in the show.
One old guy. Yeah. And I can't think of his name at this point because he's basically grandpa for the whole movie. Anyway, they're talking to him, and the girl notices the younger girl that's upstairs. She runs away or whatever, and he says, the guy gets taken away, and then there's only the younger gentleman there left, and they're talking about the kid or whatever, didn't know this or that he had, a granddaughter or whatever, and said, yeah, they have a close relationship, they're very close. From that fucking scene, I said, that bitch is her clone. His daughter, that's her clone. They use the genetic fucking lab downstairs. Clone from that scene. And I turned to Gabs. I said, I already know the Shyamalan plot twist in this. I'm not going to tell you. We're going to watch this movie, and sure as shit, fucking 2 hours later in the movie, there it is. Bam. Oh, by the way, it's a genetic fucking clone. I was like, yeah.
I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. I thought.
What purpose did it serve? Like, what? I don't know what.
Nothing right now. Like, obviously, they have a plan for her in the next movie. But either way, I was like, when they dropped that bomb, when the guy was like, "You don't know who she is." Or like, you don't know the secrets.
Well, they kept dropping like the most obvious, like it wasn't
hints,
bread.
right?
It wasn't a breadcrumb trail. It was like they were dropping entire loaves of bread every time.
They were just dropping a steak just right there, and a dinosaur was sniffing that shit out.
So bad.
And when that shit dropped, I was like, "What the fuck, man? Like, this is Jurassic Park? Or are we going into like some sort of weird sci-fi? Like,
this is my hot take on it. All right. I don't think it's going to lead into shit. Okay? All it means is that we know is that she's the clone of the dead daughter. And I think as far as movie plot device goes, that's as far as it goes. You know what I think it is? I think it's their way of trying to add some weird high-level discussion about, because at the end of the movie, who is it that lets the fucking dinosaurs go? Because at the end, it's everyone saying, "What about we brought them back, right? We had to let them back. We brought them back." And what happened to her? Motherfucker got brought back. She's a fucking, right? Okay. It's them trying to add some misplaced highbrow commentary on, genetic modification and cloning and bringing people back using that kind of technology, because that's kind of where we are. That's kind of where we are right now.
Yeah.
So I give the movie a 6, and the only thing that brings it up from a 5 is Jeff Goldblum.
And he was in it for 5 minutes. So.
That's all he needed to be. If he was in there for 6, it might have even been a 7 out of 10. Because let's be honest, Jeff. I mean, it was fun, and I agree that like they did the horror part that kind of made it feel like the originals. They did a pretty good job of that. It got a little too Alien versus Predator for me, where he starts like clicking his nail on the ground and shit. And I was like, "Fuck, come on now." But other than that, yeah, it was good for that, and I enjoyed it. I didn't hate my time there. It was just very predictable.
They feel like if I was going to Disney and I was in some sort of crazy ride, right? That's what it was like, and I think that's what they go for. I think they also want to give you that experience when you go to the theme parks, and that's pretty much what Jurassic Park is now.
I have the one last gripe that I had with the movie, other than the how predictable it was. They made what feels like the 80th callback to the fucking Brachiosaurus walking across the screen and everyone stopping and gaping jaw. It's a dinosaur! Here comes the fucking Brachiosaurus.
I will say that it was kind of touching, though, that part where the last dinosaur was sitting there and he went down.
And it's the Brachiosaurus.
I was like, but it felt. I was like, no, the dinosaur's getting fucked.
Oh my god! I was like, it could have been any dinosaur, but as soon as it was like, they did the walk by, I was like,
it's such a harmless dinosaur.
That bitch is dead.
It sounds like it reminded me of like Free Willy. It was like
Dory trying to talk to the whales. But yeah, so that made me I was like, oh, we are not fucking beating this dead horse again, are we? And sure as shit there. And so I almost laughed out loud in the theater. I didn't want to be an asshole, so I just kind of let it go. But yeah, so there you go. We're done. Spoilers are over. So those in stream chat, you can now unmute whatever. You're good to go. But yeah, that was that. So anyway, that's all I've got for movies and TV. Do we have anything else going on there, gentlemen? Anything else cropping up? Anything coming that we're excited for?
Nope. Ant-Man next week. I gotta watch that again. I'll probably watch it on the plane, the first one.
I was just milking my movie pass the past 2 weeks in between Deadpool 2, Ocean's 8, Incredibles. couple other movies here and there.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Cool.
Great. Awesome.
Tech support.
Tech support. Here we go. Oh. I mean, I'm gonna ask the question anyway. I just because it's a good mental image. I like the mental image. This comes in from Chico, who's one of our many black tar heroin dealers. Is at $1,350 lifetime, $100 current pledge.
Let's go.
Chico asks, fight to the death. Who would win, The Rock or Arnold Schwarzenegger, both in their prime?
Ooh.
They're like the same height and weight, too. It's fucking crazy. Like, they're almost identical in that respect. Well, no, The Rock has got 3 inches on Arnie. I think The Rock's 6'5", isn't he?
The Rock is a big motherfucker, man.
I think The Rock is 6'5". Arnold was 6'2". Rock 6'5".
I'm going to go with The Rock in his prime just because, like, modern time training is very different from how it was back then. I feel like The Rock would be a lot more dynamic in his capabilities.
But what if Arnold took modern day steroids like The Rock? Because
like
Arnold was at a disadvantage. Arnold's taking that plebeian shit that you'd get like in a fucking back alley from like a skid mark now. Rock is on some some scientists from Jurassic Park are pumping him
I think
with.
The Rock is in his prime right now.
He might very well be.
Well, The Rock was like The Rock did like other he did like wrestling and he did
he's a
major athletic
player.
He did all that stuff.
That's what puts him over the edge for me. Like I'm still saying
Arnold
The Rock
was a bodybuilder,
sure.
not to take away, but like it's a lot less dynamic.
I'm gonna go with The Rock too. All the wrestling years, like the guy is taking a beating. He's tough as nails. The guy is a fucking monster.
Arnold took ballet though, guys.
Yeah, well.
He's going to peter away as he gets suplexed.
Light on his feet.
I think he just crushes him.
But yeah, The Rock is an actual athlete for sure. But that would be, just for the mental image, that's a good time. I'd be down for like a CGI 2018 VR experience. Watch The Rock in his prime fight Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime. I'm down for that. I would pay money.
Rocky 9.
God, except knowing Stallone, they wouldn't go back and get younger actors. They would both just be in the movie as they are now, like 70 years old and wrinkly.
Yeah, Stallone.
Get back out there. Let's see. This is a tough question, and I don't know if we're gonna get a solid answer for it, but I'm gonna toss it out in case we have any fun answers. This comes in from Mark Furry, who is $100 lifetime, $10 current pledge. Thank you, Mark. Said, worst patch in the history of gaming.
Ooh.
You know it exists. It's just something that you don't necessarily think about all the time.
There was one that I had for BioShock. It made it so that my graphic card no longer worked with the game. Like I straight up, I was maybe about a third of the way through the game, and I was completely unable to play the game after that on my PC.
Oh.
So I never finished BioShock 1.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah, I could probably go and install it now on any one of these PCs, but like it just killed it for that PC on that graphics card.
Well, I'm gonna cheat a little bit.
Go for it.
It's not really a patch.
Okay.
Well, I guess it is kind of a patch. I'm gonna go with
what expansion are you talking about?
I'm gonna go with Heart of the Swarm.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Because it's technically a patch for the gaming. It's like they just
from the competitive side, it is
from the competitive side. It was a patch, right? It was that's all it was. Is they added new things and got rid of new things, and I think Heart of the Swarm just I think it was just a fail. Like
That's when you went from having like 20 to 30 minute games to having 40 to 50 minute games of just back and forth
infester fucking
Brood Lords and then
Brood Lord infester shit, and it was just like, are you gonna get off of a fucking vortex? You know, are they gonna get a parasite on your vortex? Game over. Like the games were just horrible. They for some reason they had the Brood Lords and they had the Swarm hosts, and it was just god awful. It was awful. It was so bad, dude. Even the commentators for the longest time were like,
they'd have to
what the
find ways to
fuck?
fill the time because there was just nothing.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with that just because it really and it's funny enough is because Heart of the Swarm was when I got Grandmaster, so it was like I should love that patch, but I think as a whole it hurt StarCraft, and I think ever since that they've been trying to get back to the roots, so to speak, and they just have never really got there. I think Legacy of the Void would have been a great opposite to Wings of Liberty. But we didn't get that first, so yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
I'm gonna say, and it's one that nobody would probably even think of ever. But for me, it changed the game for the way I played it enough that it pissed me off. Is that it was it's another expansion change thing, kind of in the same way Jeff did. And it's for Guild Wars 1, when they introduced an expansion that introduced inscriptions and green weapons, which completely demolished the economy in the game. So there was a lot of the fun for me in Guild Wars was going out and doing questing and stuff like that, but then having the chance of a random gold weapon dropping, and it was it was unidentified. You didn't know what the stats were. And if it was a perfect damage weapon and it was unidentified, then it would sell for a lot of money. And if you took the risk, you unidentified it, and it had like perfect stats that were below the damage, then it was like it was just like, it was euphoric. And it happened to me a few times playing the game. I had one weapon, like my pride and joy, my one weapon that got stolen when my account got hacked, like 2 years deep into the fucking game, was this perfect damage brute sword with perfect inscriptions on it. And it was, in game money, it was like 400,000 gold. And then they came out with this patch that did green weapons, which were basically weapons that bosses would drop. And those weapons always had perfect stats, perfect inscriptions, no matter what. And they were not hard to get for drops because the bosses dropped them almost every single time. And then on top of that, they made it so that you could break down weapons, take inscriptions off of weapons, and put them onto others. So all you had to do was get a gold weapon with perfect damage, and then you could go and just grab inscriptions from like shit tier weapons and just slap them on. And the economy just went, it just crashed, just died. And all the people that played the game in the end game that weren't playing PvP, it just made the game shit. And so since I'm not a PvP guy, yeah, that ruined it. That ruined it for me. So that's my choice. Let's see. Oh God, I'm not. Goose is tossing out these ultimatum questions again. This one I'm not going in on that one. That's too hot for TV. I can't do that one, Goose. Can't do it. Let's see. This is a good question. This is a really good question. So this comes in from Mr. Moose, $70 lifetime, $10 current. Thank you, Mr. Moose.
Thank you.
Said, it is said that youth is wasted on the young. What is something that you did when you were young that you don't regret, but wouldn't have the cojones to do today?
Oh, I have an answer to this one. When we were younger, I used to live in a very suburban neighborhood, actually kind of similar to a little bit more densely packed than kind of where you guys live. So there were other kids around the block, pretty close by. So we all had like those like Huffy bikes, or like not BMX, but like kid-sized bikes that you can put pegs and stuff on. And we used to build ramps and jump off the ramps, like 2, 3, 4.
You're literally giving my answer right now.
Yeah, 2, 3, 4 foot ramps, and we do things where we'd set the ramp up in the middle of the street, and we'd like jump, and then we keep like moving the ramp further and further away to see who can make it from the ramp to the curb, without wiping out. And thinking back on it, I am just like, I am surprised I did not break any bones from doing that. Like I definitely felt scraped and stuff. So I was like, it's probably not something I would do now given the opportunity.
Yeah, that is literally my answer. When we were growing up on the street, same thing. We would build ramps, usually with wood that had no business actually being part of a ramp.
Or weight.
Shitty plywood.
Just
already
got a bend to it.
Not structurally sound in any way, shape, or form, and
prop up a
just
piece of plywood on some boxes.
Some rocks, some boulders underneath, just holding the wood up.
anything you could get to get an angle. Just use it.
Yeah.
And
You ride on it on the side of the wood, and it's just everything's just gonna crumble
just
and
fall
you're gonna
apart.
break your neck.
Oh my god! I remember this one, and this is like the mental image I always get when I think back on it. Even though we had a blast and a lot of fun, so we would jump the ramps and stuff, and one day for some reason or another, my brother and I just decided we weren't going to. We were helping our parents with something in the yard. So my dad was like doing something with a car. I was doing something in the garden with my mom, and we're all in the front yard. And a couple of our friends had set up like a makeshift ramp on the sidewalk. And we're just like, we were kind of just watching, still helping our parents. And I always get this like vivid remembrance of the sound effect and the visual. One of the kids who played less with us, but he was around. He's still pretty cool. He decided he was going to jump. He was a tall and gangly fellow, kind of Adam-like. He decided he was going to jump the ramp on his mountain bike instead of like we were all using like our like Huffy whatever bikes. And he had this bright green helmet or whatever, and he hit this ramp. The ramp, like, it held, but it didn't quite hold. It, like, shifted. And as soon as his front wheel left the ramp, it didn't go. He didn't get any air. It just went straight down.
Oh, God.
This was like a 3-foot ramp or something. So he went straight down, and then he went straight down with it. And we heard the cracking sound from across the street, enough that my dad, who was vacuuming the car, turned off the vacuum and
what was that sound?
And he goes over and he sees the kid. Like the kid was like, thank God, like he didn't like die or anything. But like his helmet was broken.
Thank God he didn't die.
No, his helmet was broken. He was bleeding, and like my parents ran over and helped him and like took him home. But we were just like, oh my God. And my parents were kind of just like looking at us like, yeah, you guys are never doing that again. Like, because they'd see us jump all the time, but this is like the first time they saw something like terrible happen. And I was looking at it and I'm like, yeah, no, we're good. Like all of us in our friend group after that were just like, no, we're good.
Pack those ramps in.
We're done.
Boys.
We're done with the ramps. Like,
yeah,
it's no longer
fun. We used to have competitions to see how far you could jump from the ramp. It was your back tire was the marker.
Gap in the road.
Basically, no, we didn't gap the road. We put the ramp in the middle of the road. We were jumping with the road. There was no like cross the road.
Oh, we jumped from like somewhere in the middle of the road to the curb on a.
No, we were going for maximum distance. So we just had it with the road, and somebody would be the designated marker. They'd be the one person we chose to like mark where all the tires would land. So. And it was Cam was the designated marker for this run. And people were doing the jumps and stuff. And the ramp, I can still see the ramp in my head right now. And it was unequivocally the shittiest ramp we've ever fucking built. In hindsight, one of the worst. The plywood that we used was taken out of like a camp that was 5 years old. The water had already gotten to it. The bottom left corner was already rotted because it was plywood and just chipped away. So it was like this jagged, like cutout edge on it. Nothing fit right. It was already bowed, and we were only using stacked, beat up 2x4s to make up the rest of the ramp with nothing underneath, like the plywood. So it was just like it was already a bad time. But people hadn't died yet, so we were still doing it. And on our street, as Jeff would know, you'd go down one side of the street was a big hill, and so you could get all this speed. And the length of our street was pretty long. So we had the ramp about halfway down the street, and you'd go down the hill, around the corner, and you'd be fucking moving by the time you hit the ramp. And we used mountain bikes. Mountain bikes were popular for us. We weren't using this wasn't like, what was his name, Dave Miro or whatever. This wasn't BMX shit. This was
These
everyone
weren't, like,
using.
yeah, the bikes we used were like those, but they were like the normal consumer version. They weren't like anything fancy.
No, we were just using mountain
It
bikes.
was like small wheel.
Shocks and bullhorns were the two things that you wanted to have on your bike. I didn't have shocks, but I had bullhorns up on the handles, the fucking bullhorn thing, whatever. And
why would you want those for ramps?
It was because it looked sweet. That was all. It looks sweet. It was a 12. It was a 12-speed bike with the bullhorns. So anyway, it's my turn. Like 3 people go before me. I get to the top of the hill. I go down, hitting the corner, and I'm fucking moving because I want to win. Because you're a kid and you don't want to lose. It's losing, there's no such thing as second place. And I hit the ramp. And as soon as I hit the ramp, for whatever reason, Cam decides that is the time he is going. Not at any point from me going up the hill or anything. He decides he's going to mark the last person that went. He starts walking out in front of the ramp.
No.
And so in my mind, when I'm about 10 feet from the ramp, I've got 2 choices. I either literally kill Cameron by hitting this ramp and just dummying him in midair, just would have absolutely crushed him, or I slam the brakes on and hope for the best. And so by the time my small brain had made that decision and the neurons fired and got down to my hands, the only thing that was still on the ramp was the back tire. And when I hit the brakes and the back tire locked up, it lurched my bike forward.
You went straight to
and I went into a fucking forward flip. Cameron saw this last second, get out of the way, but it was too late for me. I was attached to the bike, and those bullhorns that look so sweet were a deadly, deadly thing to have on the bike, because what happened is in my forward roll, it caught my feet and ankles. and it kept me attached. It kept me attached to the bike, and then the bike went over my head, and it folded my feet up to my shoulders.
I know how that feels.
Weight of the bike, and it pulled me forward, and it fucked me. And I couldn't walk. It felt like the muscles got torn in my legs. And when I hit the ground, there was it was all road was all paved, but there's always random pebbles and shit. And I ended up with a pebble stuck in my lip on the top right side, because my helmet hit, but there was still enough room for my face to hit ground, and I just scraped on the ground. The bike's over my head, my feet are up by my head, everything's fucked. I'm just crittered on the ground, and Cameron was everyone was holy shit. And I looked up, I was like, Cameron, why would you move? And he was like, what do you mean, man? I wasn't doing anything. And to this fucking day, I swear to God, if you asked him, he's like, not my fault. Deny it. I wasn't doing it. I wasn't doing shit.
One of my front teeth is actually shorter than the other. We fixed it when I got braces, and they had filed it down because I had we used to do bike races around the block also, and parents being parents, don't ride on the street for some of that stuff. So we'd ride through the sidewalks and stuff when people weren't around. Some douchebag had pulled a pole out of the ground. And from demolition or whatever, and it had a big ball of concrete on the back of it, and he had left the pole on the grass area, but the concrete ball was in the sidewalk. So we're doing this race, and my bike hit it, but my feet did not become detached from the pedals, so kind of like you flipped over with your old thing. The entire bike and everything went over behind me, and I was tangled up in it, but I landed with
chin to ground.
Chin and front teeth to ground, so I chipped my tooth.
Oh, and God, you're lucky. You're lucky you didn't kill your tooth, kill the fucking nerve in it.
But at the same time, I was stuck there for 10 minutes before someone else came by and was like, "Oh shit!"
Good Lord,
we should probably I was tangled up in my bike.
So cautionary tale: don't take your bike off any sweet jumps. Unless you're very small and your weight doesn't completely kill you when you hit the ground. Yes. Doing it in an older age, bad time. Don't do it. Last question.
Gravity hits you hard.
From Mr. Miyagi. $2,130. Lifetime support. $50 current pledge. Plus, he's just Mr. Miyagi, so it does you answer. You answer the call. Marry, fuck, kill. It's one of these bad boys to end strong. Nicolas Cage, Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Didn't we already get this?
Vin Diesel.
Oh, we had Nicolas Cage before.
Marry, fuck, kill.
All right, I kill Nicolas Cage.
Oh, after we talked him up and everything.
Yeah. Oh man. This is tough.
Let's do this a different way. Let's all go with what you would do with the individual person. So we'll do it based on people. Like, what would you do to Nicolas Cage?
Okay.
So Jeff said
What do you
kill.
mean? I'm
Like
killing
Jeff
him.
said kill.
Oh, okay, I'm killing.
What are you doing for Nicolas Cage, Adam?
I'm marrying Nicolas Cage.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That'd be a horrible, horrible relationship.
All of these are horrible relationships, but the difference being,
I would
as much as Nick Cage takes shitty film roles, the money's constantly coming in.
I would probably also kill Nicolas Cage.
Fair ball. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's a. I know what I do with him.
I'm marrying Arnold.
I'm
marrying Arnold.
I think I would actually fuck him because the steroids probably had some shrinking effects. Make it a bit easier.
Oh, okay. I'm killing Arnold.
Killing Arnold. I need to know why. Why are you killing Arnold?
I'm killing Arnold
Guess he's almost dead.
because he's almost dead.
There you go.
You're just finishing it.
I'm finishing the job. We've already gotten the best out of Arnie at this point. We've already seen what Arnie has to offer. You know, if he's done it all. The motherfucker has done it all. So I'm packing it in for him, which means for Vin, I'm banging Vin Diesel.
I'm fucking Vinny.
I'm marrying that guy. You know why? He's a gamer. He plays D&D. All total package right there.
I just
Right.
feel like marrying Arnold would be the best choice because he's probably got a lot of stories. He feels like a good dude to hang out with and like just fucking have dinner with and shit.
Vin Diesel doesn't.
I'm fucking Vinny, man. I'm just whatever.
I hidden and quitted on Vinny.
I want to marry Nick because then I'll be in the picture next to him when he randomly shows up in Kazakhstan wearing like full on weird suits and shit. The paparazzi take pictures.
What a horrible marriage. Just what a horrible marriage that would be.
Is
Talk about
Gab's gonna have
stories.
like nightmares now, like
Yeah.
rethinking her life?
Oh, absolutely. That's hilarious. Well,
All
ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. That is Technical Alpha for this week. It's been an absolute pleasure. Let me get the list up here for you fine folks that are supporting us. Mucho grande. Let me press the button. All right, now this is going to be a very shocking list, gentlemen, because it's basically been unchanged for a long time. Because these people are gods. Jetrix. I want to just let you motherfuckers know, okay, that in like 4 days, Jetrix is going to cross the $7,000 mark.
Yikes.
In like 4 days.
Mm.
Postal Panda is going to cross the $3,000 mark in the same amount of time. We got Matt M, Chico, Toad of Steel, Black Jimmy, Jamaican Jazz, Adam B, Derek P, and Martin coming in hot. Also, as I've been doing as well, shout outs to Soft Shoe, who has been hanging out at the respectable $50 a fucking month tier for so long. He's got $510. You know why that's special? Because he doesn't even make the normal Patreon producer list shout out, but he's hung out there for 10 months at the $50 Mark. That is 10 out of 10. Soft shoe. Shoutouts. Mr. Miyagi. We already mentioned he's in
God.
deep.
Yeah.
And many others. We got some legends out there. You guys are absolute gods. Bless you all. And that will be it. We will see you guys next week. Same time
Realm Royale
as
replay.
usual. Realm Royale replay. Check it out. If you haven't already, the video should be up alongside of this one. So you can go and give it a look-see. And then if you're interested and you're playing it, and even if you're not playing it, maybe you're just a watcher on Twitch or whatever, and you catch some clips. Don't have to be your clips. You see some clips, send them in. Realm Royale Replay at gmail.com. And if you want to join these fine gentlemen in the Patreon producer mayhem, or get your hands on some stuff, or just support us in general, it's patreon.com/technicalalpha. technicalalpha.audio for everything else. Thank you once again, and until we see you next week, peace.
Bye.